Michigan Liberation is a statewide network of people and organizations organizing to end the criminalization of black families and communities of color in Michigan. We envision a state without mass incarceration, mass policing, and punishment. We envision a state with the best public education in the nation, single-payer health care, and thriving black and brown communities. Here on the Respect the Roots podcast, we will lift up the stories and experiences of those impacted by mass incarceration, collective ties to the criminal legal system, and the frontline efforts to end mass incarceration.
Hey everybody, this is Miss Marjan, and welcome to Michigan Liberation's Respect the Roots podcast. Today in the studio, I got none other than Ray Lanier, our executive director, and then also Meech. I got Meech also here in the studio. Ray, you are representing Cash Bail. We're going to talk about it. One of the campaigns as part of Michigan Liberation, and Meech, you are coming in to talk about Good Time. What's up, y'all? What up, Doe?
What up,
Doe?
It's so good to see y'all faces in person, especially in an environment like this. And I know you both have some amazing stories as it pertains to these campaigns and everything. And we've already touched in another episode. We just slightly talked about, some of the campaigns, but today we're going to go hard in the paint in it, okay? So let's start off with Cash Bail. What is Cash Bail or ending Cash Bail? Ray, tell us about it.
So for those of us who have had the misfortune of being taken into custody, or those of us who've had to assist someone, getting out of custody, bail is the monetary requirement for you to get out. Or at least that's what it looks like in practice. But it is what is required to the court for your release before you go to trial or the matter is resolved.
Wow. Okay. So you're looking to end it.
Yeah. Okay. So the ending part. Yeah. So
that part. Yeah.
Cash bail has got to go. We've been working on cash bail for many years, since 2019, and have learned a lot. One of the things we learned is that requiring money for bail, for release, is actually not constitutional, even though it is a common practice in many courts. And we do not think that people should be incarcerated for failure to pay, especially when the court is not taking into consideration their ability to pay, and especially when we know that a 24-hour stay, even in a county jail, can result in a 90% chance of conviction. So that's a lot of people getting locked up for driving offenses, a lot of people getting locked up for having an air freshener in the window or a cracked windshield, and facing catastrophic consequences because they don't have the $30 or the $500 or more to make it home and get help.
Wow, that's crazy. I got something to pick with you on that note. But Meech, tell us what's going on with Good Time. What is Good Time?
Good Time is a credit-based system that has been removed from Michigan Department of Corrections. In other words, they failed to incentivize good behavior. There was a time when a prisoner could show good behavior over a year's time and he get 90 days off his sentence. Well, they took that away in 1998, and they implemented a system called Truth in Sentencing, where now you do 100%, a minimum of 100% of your sentence, and if not that 100%, you're going to do 140%, which instead of 10 to 20 years, you're going to do 14 to 20 years. Wow. That's Good Time, and that's Good Time, and that's Truth in Sentencing, which they have in place right now to take taxpayers' money.
All right, y'all. So this is where the conversation comes in. We got to talk about this because I think even though you gave a great definition or intro to it, what's really going on? With cash bail, I've been there when you did a bailout, or tried to, because the person that we was there to try to bail out didn't get out. And I think we need to be real and transparent about that process, So, Ray, I think it was me, you, and Ashley, that was downtown. And just explain what happened, kind of like, or some of the trials and tribulations of dealing with this cash bail system.
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, the cash bail system, as we all know it today, is designed to break you. When you think about paying bail the way it's shown on TV, you scrape up the money, you go to the jail, you pay the money, the person comes right out, you go home. That's not actually what it looks like, and it for damn sure is not what it looks like in Wayne County. The day that
Wow.
you're, referring to, we first of all, to even get into the jail, right, we had to go back and forth because you can't have your phone and you can't have your keys. So how do you get in the car? The parking is terrible. You have to have exact change. And then maybe they have a tether, so you have to come back in 3 days anyway after waiting 12 to 14 hours to come back in just to be told that. So, we are bail specialists. We consider ourselves to be, bail disruptor specialists. So, we already know the game, but imagine a person who's had to secure childcare or had to take off work.
Right.
And now they have to navigate this system. A lot of families simply can't do it, right? Because we're all depending on these thin but necessary threads of support. And the minute you chop one, you've completely, messed up that family and that community. It does not promote safety, which is not what's communicated to us, but it actually puts people in hard places that have to make hard decisions. And industries like the bail industry profit heavily off of that. I mean, so now you've lost a family member, you've lost all that potential income, all of the support, and you've had to leverage your house or your car, right? So
That's
trying to
crazy.
get rid of that system.
Yeah. Now, you touched on something that I want to make sure. Did you say you have to have the exact amount of change or money to bail somebody out?
Absolutely. Now, you can give them more. They
Of
will
course.
certainly accept more, but you will not get change for that. And also, in Wayne County, you aren't even able to pay online, right? Which I'm sure if you did like they do in other places, they charge you a huge processing fee, but you don't even have that access. So it's basically, cash, a money order that you'll have to guess the amount because sometimes the amounts can change based off of based off of who's on shift, right? When you come in,
boy.
based off of how many holds in different jurisdictions, so bail bondsman, money order, or straight up cash, and rolls of change.
That's insane.
Who's got time for that?
That's why people not getting bailed out, y'all. But anyway, Meech, I'm going to go over to you. You mentioned truth in sentencing versus good times. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So give us the dibs on that. I know you got a lot to say about that.
Okay. Let's start with truth in sentencing. Truth in sentencing, again, was implemented, and this was the argument for truth in sentencing by legislators. This was the argument that if we implement truth in sentencing, in other words, if we make prisoners do 100% of their time, at least 100% of their time, this will deter future would-be criminals.
Wow.
So now they have already cast the net on a community, black and brown communities, to say they're going to be involved in crime. We're going to scare them. We're going to implement a truth in sentencing. This way, they will know that they will do 110% of their time. So now what happens under truth in sentencing is they give out more time now. They give out 30 to 60, whereas in good time, you might get 20 to 40. Now you get 30 to 60, and you got to do 30. Good time, you may have to do 15 of that 20.
Right.
Well, now they're giving out the big numbers to where you're going to do 30. So now I'm 18 years old. I come out at 48.
And Meech, this is in Michigan, right?
Michigan is one of very few states where you do 100% of your time. Other states has between 25% and 85% of their time. And these are some of the hardened states, New York, California, Florida, where they only allow you to do 25 to 85. Michigan say you're doing 100%, and if it's not 100, you're going to do 140.
Man. Okay. Wow. So why now just tell us, okay, and I know we've talked offline about this. People are probably looking at it like this is a money maker. We know the prison system is a money maker, right? But isn't there a benefit going towards good times for taxpayers? Like, isn't there a benefit that they're not telling us about that really, in the end, benefits the community versus not benefiting?
Okay. Michigan spends per year 20% of Michigan's budget is towards corrections, corruption. Now, with 20% going towards the Department of Corrections, you have what is the recidivism rate for long indeterminate sentence guys who do get out? It's next to zero. That means that if those guys were given good time and got out because they were incentivized for good behavior and they got out early, because that's what good time is, that means that if you show good behavior, we let you out early. We knock 60 to 90 days off each year of your sentence. So they get out. That makes society safer. Now, to keep those prisoners in there, it costs $36,000 per prisoner. Michigan has approximately 40,000 prisoners. That means that Michigan spends approximately $14.5 million per year to house a prisoner, right?
Right.
Now, if they allow if they allow the system to be incentivized, these prisoners to be incentivized with good behavior, this means that taxpayers have more money in their pocket to have child care, to buy a new car, to finance a house or whatever they want to do. They have money in their pockets.
Right.
But because the system that's in place right now, truth in sentencing, makes them pay more, because if a prisoner go to segregation, it costs approximately $1 million per year.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean,
$1 million.
I'd really just like to connect it to commerce too, and the workforce. We're 2+ years in the pandemic. We've been to all the places that say apologies. We're short-staffed, right? There's not enough specialized training. Folks who are incarcerated have jobs. They might not be getting paid anything, but they are skilled laborers, right, who upon coming out are unable to access these jobs. So really when we talk about, a job employee shortage, it's really because we are, one, not accepting the folks who've made it to reentry, and two, not making it easier for this specialized skill force to get out quicker, right? To be incentivized as good, producing productive members of society, which we all want to be.
Wow.
Let me just chime in 1 second. Now, if good time were given back to prisoners in Michigan, this is what happens. Now the parole board, now society is being given some of the best, the pillars of the community, the leaders of the community, those who can problem solve the issues in our community. That's right. What's given back to society. That's the financial benefit. Right. Because now you have a person like me who I'm not committing crimes, and I surround myself with people who are not committing crimes. I know I have effect on people who may want it to commit crimes, but because they know that I'm not into it, so now they follow my lead. So you have hundreds of people like me waiting to get out, waiting on good times so they can get out early so they can become pillars of the community. They're pillars of the community in the prison setting. So what do we think they're going to be out here?
Yeah, and are they only allowed to work in prison? They're already making our license plates. They're already boxing our fruits and our vegetables.
We got some
right. They're
license
already
plates.
making our undergarments. They're
right.
already work. So are they only allowed to have these jobs when they're incarcerated? Right. And is that why you don't want good time? Because you want them in there longer, right? To be able to pay them pennies on the dollar.
Right. So with having half, we got half, 13 minutes left. Let's talk about, because, one thing we talked about in another episode is being an organizer requires that we be part of the solution. Because we know there's a problem. There's a lot of problems, and we would be very weary if we try to address them all, especially just here in the state of Michigan. Where do we go from here? Y'all, what is the solution, especially within Michigan Liberation? Because I know y'all are working hard to come up with solutions and whatnot. So what does solutions look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've named a couple. So one, I just have to start by saying, we're an abolitionist organization. So we believe in ending mass incarceration. We do not believe the current iteration of policing, courts, prisons, that they work, right? That they actually create less safe communities. So when we talk about restoring good time, right, like it's not going to end mass incarceration immediately, but it is the necessary step and bite we need to take to get there. When we talk about ending cash bail, we're talking about a huge part of ending mass incarceration because a lot of folks end up, caught up who shouldn't be, right? You have parents of autistic family members who, when their loved one's having an episode, the only place they can call is 911.
Yeah, the police.
You know what I mean? You have people who have mental health issues, who are dealing with coping by substance use, who end up in jail, right? End up with cash bail, unable to pay. You have very poor people who are struggling to take care of their families. And with the overturn of Roe, there's going to be a lot more of that. People who are stealing formula. Ask yourself, why is formula locked up in the grocery stores? It's because people are willing, they're going to feed their families, right? So we're talking about two different ends of the spectrum that are connected. How can we stop the flow into this system, and what are we doing with our folks who are left behind, who are currently trapped in that system? So, I mean, you go on our website, you look at our vision for a liberated Michigan. Those are the solutions that the state of Michigan and its community members said that it wants, and that's been our guiding star in how we guide our work year after year.
So we're talking about the vision of education, right?
Right.
We're talking about, it's not just education in the public K through 12, but that's where it starts at. It starts at home, and then we're talking about K through 12. But education of the public is what helps to end mass incarceration because we're giving out information. So the more information that we can give out, the more vision people can have on what we envision, and they can have their own self-vision to say, well, no, I don't want to go that route because I see something better for myself. I understand what so-and-so was talking about when they was talking about educating people, and education is the key to happiness, and et cetera, et cetera. So we give people vision. We inspire vision in people because we understand that through that vision, mass incarceration is going to be lessened. It's going to become lesser of an issue because we educating people. But if we don't educate them, that's what we're about, educating the society. That's why we have listening sessions. We go out in the community. We knock on doors. We have break light clinics. We got the End Cash Bail campaign. We got Care Not. So we have these campaigns because we care.
Right.
And we're trying to educate some people because that's the only way we're going to really realize our vision of ending mass incarceration.
Yeah, and just to bring what me just saying home, like we're educating to let folks know what's currently happening so that we can make space for us to dream and scheme and execute those solutions, right? It's all about alternatives. And when you talk about, and when I say alternatives to current courts, policing, prisons, jails. So yeah, like when we talk about educating people, it's so that we can give folks another option. When that autistic child's parent calls, has an episode, they know, I don't have to call the police. Someone with a gun doesn't have to come, and potentially harm me or my child. It's about, empowering people, moving them from the disempowered place that we all came to this org feeling, and letting them know that you don't have to have a law degree, you don't have to have a college degree, you don't have to know the first thing about writing policy for you to change your current circumstances. And I say it all the time, come build power with us. Like, that is the solution. Reading online, great, right? Doing your own research, great, but you have to move together shoulder to shoulder in a disciplined way for us to win the future that we all deserve.
Respect the roots.
Respect the roots, yes. Yeah, man. Y'all, this is powerful. Hey, we're here with Ray Lanier, the executive director of Michigan Liberation, and Demetrius Knuckles, who is also an organizer under Good Times. And we got like 8 minutes, everybody, and it's like, I want us to really go hard in the paint and explain to the people, our listeners, our followers, what you're hearing as you're dealing with these people, dealing with these campaigns. You know what I mean? I think some people are out of touch. Let's be real. You said educate, engage. I hear different, key words, but what are the people, what's really going on? What are you really seeing? What's the real deal, as they say, as it deals with good times and people in the system, for example, Meech. You know what I mean?
I spoke to a young lady yesterday when we were having this session outside of at 901 Melbourne at Pastor Kevin Harris's church. And I spoke to a young lady. She said she heard me speak about the good time, and she came up to me. She said, I need to talk to somebody. She said, I got several family members who are incarcerated. Some of them are young. They don't even know. Maybe they learning in there, but as far as I know, they don't know anything about anything you just said. But we need help.
Yeah.
And this is just one person who's saying that we need help. And this is not the mother of either of those three. So imagine with the mother of the incarcerated individual, how she feel, or the father, how he feel, or the brother, the little brother, whose big brother is locked up or big sister is locked up. This is the temperature that we're recording coming back to us. Everybody is confused. Everybody is lost. Everybody wants help but don't know where to go. And that's why we coming on these type of Respect Your Roots podcasts. That's why we reach out to the public, because, again, we try to educate them. We trying to bring them in. We trying to help them and show them how to build power. With or without us, build power. Because we are an abolitionist organization. We don't believe in incarcerating people. We don't believe that that's the end all to trying to resolve a situation. Because it could be resolved in so many different ways.
Right.
If we would only come together and build power together.
That's true. That's true, Demetrius. That's good. That's good. Man, y'all bringing it. You know, in another episode, we talked about what are some nuggets we want to leave the people with. You know, food for thought. You know, we definitely are going to give, you know, people can see, you know, they can reach us at myliberation.org and can reach out to us. But what do we want to tell the people? Because let's be real and honest. A lot of talking is being done in a lot of different areas in our government, in these organizations, and people are losing hope. And that's one thing we know Michigan Liberation can offer hope, but I just want you to leave some nuggets for some people. You know what I mean? You know, and I'll start off because I know I threw that at y'all, but here's the thing. We've got these campaigns, and we've got on this show cash bail, ending cash bail. You know, I don't know too many campaigns out there that are on boots on the ground, for real, y'all, going out sometimes 8 hours and still nobody's being bailed out. Dealing with the craziness of going inside. You know, we went in, you know, Ray, and we signed in and then had to go back out and wait almost 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? And that day my grandmother passed and I still was there. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we do. You know, same thing, Meet, you know, the signatures that you guys were working on for the petition to get good times back. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, you know, it's kind of, it's weary, but it's somebody's got to do it. Many are called, but few are chosen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so my thing is, if you want to, you know, you want to respect the roots, join it. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk about it. Don't complain about it, but join it. So I don't know who wants to go next and just speak some knowledge on what you want to leave the people, because we got about 4 minutes. So
yeah, I'll hop in. I'll say a lot of folks, you know, to your earlier question of what are we hearing, I feel like a lot of what we hear is, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Or,
come on now. Yes.
You know, well, both sides is really against us, right? Or it's, you know, the left saying it's the right, or the right saying it's the left. And people just having general fatigue and not wanting to deal with it, right? They're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents and deal with this COVID and this monkeypox now. You know, they don't have time. But what I would say is that if you think your life has nothing to do with politics, check again. Our lives are inherently political. You may not care about politics, but your landlord does. Yeah. Your employer, your corporation cares about politics, right? Your neighborhood, the police, they care about politics. Everyone that is influencing you, right, and contributing to your bad days or even your great days, they care about politics. And it's time for you to start caring for politics. I think, you know, if coming to a meeting is too scary, ask yourself the question, what was my first exposure to this system? Do I know someone take it a step further, ask a friend, because I promise you, we've all been touched by this system. If you want to learn more, please reach out. And, the last thing that I'll say is, with all the heavy news, it's hope has been kind of dicey. I mean, even as an organizer, we only have so much hope. But the more I reflect on it, on these mass shootings and how they're trending younger and younger to kids who can't even buy alcohol legally, right? When I think about what's happening in the Ukraine with Russia, when I think about election subversion and what happened on January 6th in the last 4 years and how we're so divided, I pray for more resources for organizers, because what we are responding to is a lack of organizers. We just need enough folks. People have not heard their stories. They've not been listened to seriously. Folks are only coming to take. But if you're tired of that, find an organizer, or an organizer will find you.
Yeah, that's what's up. Meech, take us on home.
Look, I'm gonna end with this here. I keep hearing people say, well, my vote don't count. And I'm here to tell them, your vote don't count. I agree with you. It don't count if you don't cast it. See, your vote can't count if you don't cast it. See, people that stand on the sideline, the man who stands upon the corners and points the way but does not go is just a pointer. And a block of wood can do that. See, the teacher treads the way. On every span of ground, the teacher leaves his footprints clearly cut so that all can see and be assured that their master, went that way. So what we doing is we going that way, and we telling you, come with us. If you envision change for yourself, if you want change for your community, link up with us and watch you see change. It may not be the magnitude of change that you're looking for right away, but you're going to start seeing change, because we're going to help you to think different about your conditions and your environment. So with that, I'm going to say that when you're standing on the side of right, you can't go wrong.
All right, man. That's what I'm talking about. Well, you heard it here. Thank you, Ray and Meech, for coming. Hey, this is only the beginning. There's a lot of work to be done. But, when we decided to do this podcast, we said this was going to be our way of getting our voice out. And just imagine, in 28 minutes, that was powerful. There's no way you would have been able to get that much in a media. I don't want to name no outlet. You know what I'm saying? But people are going to hear you. So I want to thank you for coming in the studio, and I expect to see y'all again. I want to thank all our listeners, all our followers and everything, because we love you. Make sure you check us out on social media at My Liberation and our website at myliberation.org, everybody. So till next time, hey, respect the roots.
Respect the roots.
All right, y'all. Take care. Michigan Liberation Education Fund, C3, conducts grassroots organizing, leadership development, and civic engagement activities. Michigan Liberation C4 and Michigan Liberation Action Fund, IE, are sister organizations.